Oh, didn't see it there. Oh, forgive me. Welcome. It is I, Atlas. Cringe. But to be cringe is to be free. What's up, guys? It's Atlas. Today, I have a Reddit video. Told you guys I wanted to make one, so I did. I got 3 stories for you today. The theme of today's episode, we're getting fancy here with the episode, is we're on the r/best of Redditor updates. Now, I've seen this in a couple of videos, but essentially the premise of this subreddit is, if you've ever seen a Reddit video, a big thing that is wanted with like the am I the asshole or am I overreacting sort of posts. The big thing that you want is the updates, the juicy updates. You find out how the story ends, at least to some capacity. So best of Redditor updates essentially is where the big stories go, and they've got updates. We're gonna figure this out as we go. Some of them are I say some of them, there's only 3. 2 of them are pretty bad. Not that I've read them. Based on the title, they're pretty bad. But sit back, relax, and we're gonna have a grand old time watching other people's drama. Gotta get the positive energy flowing. Excuse me for a sec. I'm gonna give myself some music that helps me focus. If you're ever looking for like ambient music, I'm gonna put them in the description. Semi-Quaver, I'll put them up here. Semi-Quaver, they make ambient music in search for comfort, and a lot of their videos, you know, they seem like they'd be like sad boy times. A lot of times it's really good ambient music, like their most popular one that I've listened to dozens of times, and it's an hour long. If life was a video game, this would be the menu music. I'm just going to give him a quick shout out. I'm not sponsored by him or her at all. I just love their ambient music and I play it. A lot of times when I'm recording, I'll have music in the background. That probably adds to my lack of talking skills. But anyway, our first story. This was posted by Direct Caterpillar 77, but it does specify in the post that the original poster is u/don't care throwaway. So I'm assuming it's a throwaway account, which for those of you who don't know, they essentially make an account just to post something probably fucked up or something that they don't want getting traced back to them. This was posted in 2015. This is a 2015 story, and it says it's concluded. With that preamble out of the way. Okay, so I am going crazy in my head here because I don't know if I'm just the world's hugest bitch or what. Basically, my boyfriend, let's call him Steve, is just not good at doing anything. Wait, that's not true. He's good at outdoorsy stuff and is apparently pretty good at his job in catering. Aside from that, 5 question marks. For example, I feel like I can't do anything with him that involves any skill or is even slightly competitive because 1, he's a sore loser, and 2, he never wins. That's an odd combo. When I stayed with his family over Christmas, they had a Scrabble board, and because it was snowy and boring, of course, I tried to pass the time playing Scrabble with him. And I'm not even a good Scrabble player. And I still crushed him every game, and eventually, after a few, I just couldn't play anymore because I had to spend like 10 minutes after every game making him feel better about himself. After giving up on Scrabble, we switched to playing Sorry. Highly ironic. Highly ironic. We had to stop that too because I couldn't handle the mental toll of continuously beating him at Sorry. Another time, we went to a board game night with some friends and he couldn't understand the rules for most of the board games and afterwards vented to me about how stupid the games were and why there was no point having rules so complicated no one could grasp them. He was the only one who couldn't grasp them. Other times, we'd play casual stuff like air hockey or foosball, which I didn't think he even required any strategy other than spinning the little plastic dudes really fast And he'd still lose every time and get upset about it. I don't care about winning. I just want to have fun, and it feels like it's impossible to have fun because playing anything with him feels like playing against a goddamn 5-year-old. Little swig. I'm just going to start here. I've met people like this. Not in the sense of they're bad at everything, more so that they're sore losers. It's impossible to have fun with them. There is only one game on this planet that I am a sore loser at, and that's Overwatch. I hate losing in Overwatch, especially since I moved to PC. It sucks losing at Overwatch because that's the only game I would consider myself good at. So when I lose, it sucks. But that's besides the point. Your boyfriend sounds like he sucks, but we're also only hearing it from you. This is also like a very strange problem to have. Oh, my boyfriend sucks at everything. But the only examples we've gotten, granted, we're only like halfway through the story, is that he sucks at board games. But I'm assuming at some point we're going to learn there are more things he sucks at. I should have waited to say that. Because in the next paragraph, but wait, this thread isn't entitled My Boyfriend is Terrible at Games. So here's some other stuff. His internet stopped working a while back, so he called me and I told him to use his mobile data to download the troubleshooting manual for his router and see if he could fix it. He didn't manage, so I went to his place later and found he downloaded the manual for the wrong router. God, it wasn't even for the right brand. I ended up fixing his problem, and then he ranted to me about how all these router manufacturers make their manuals so hard to use, like there's some sort of deliberate conspiracy to keep everyone in perpetual confusion unless they're a genius. I'm not a genius. I'm just capable of following simple written instructions. I gotta learn to put a sock in my mouth. Also, he wants to go back to school to do a master's degree, but he needs to do some prereqs, including a math unit where he's struggling with a lot of the material. But as far as I can tell, it's all stuff he learned in high school. Lately, he's been posting Facebook updates about how hard it is to learn logarithms. My school covered logarithms in grade 9, and even though I can't remember how to do them off the top of my head, I don't recall them being particularly hard at the time. And aside from that, I'm getting tired of being expected to be sympathetic when increasingly I just want to yell, well, maybe if you weren't such a dumbass. But if I even hint that maybe he should be able to deal with his own emotions, example, honey, I know you couldn't get the pizza dough the shape you wanted, but it's not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, right? I get accused of being unsympathetic to his feelings. I said that with the wrong tone. Well, what about my feelings that I don't want constant rolling coverage of every tiny thing that bothers you? Okay, I'm going to stop here because I read like 5 words into the next paragraph. We got a pick me boy. Now, hear me out. This might be a hot take. A hot take, a bucket of Minecraft lava, if you will. He's a pick me. He likes being sympathized for. That's what it sounds like to me. And I'm looking very much into it because when it comes to board games, it's the board game's fault. When it comes to his router, it's the router company's fault. When it comes to math, he said it's hard to learn logarithms. So that's not really him blaming anybody, but he's blaming everybody else for his issues. The one thing that I will disagree with, I think by the time we get to the mathematics one, where he's learning to get his master's degree, you're already looking at him a certain way, if that makes sense. Like you've already got the goggles and you're looking for anything that confirmation bias, anything that helps the point of view that you already have on your boyfriend, because I don't see the logarithms thing as relevant. Because with the board games, he's blaming the board games as the board game's fault. With the router, it's the router company's fault, and obviously he's not putting whatever the circumstances were. But with the logarithms, he's just complaining that they're hard to learn, right? And sure, maybe you learn it in high school. I couldn't tell you. But I want to yell, well, maybe if you weren't such a dumbass, it's a little much. It sounds like confirmation bias, but, that doesn't invalidate everything there. Let's continue. But he's also an incredibly sweet, hardworking person who treats me well and his boss and coworkers all say he doesn't just work hard, but is actually really competent at his job, and he did pretty well in high school, and he's lived on his own since he was 16, and kept himself alive the whole time, and no one else has ever said or hinted to me, gee, your boyfriend is kind of a dumbass. So what the fuck? Is it me? Am I the crazy one? Am I a bitch? TLDR, boyfriend struggles with board game instructions, technology, high school level math. I struggle with mounting resentment. Can this be worked out? What does it even mean to have such ugly thoughts about your significant other? And there is one update. But before we get to the update, because in your TLDR you said, can this be worked out? What does it even mean to have such ugly thoughts about your SO? The first thing I would say is mounting resentment most of the time stems from something else. You have to identify where your resentment it lies and either deal with it or it's going to eat you alive, which is already sounding like it is. Can this be worked out? 100%. I'm going to take a wild guess and say you have not talked to your boyfriend about him being a dumbass. So I'm going to say do that. That's the easy solution is to just talk to him and just be like, sometimes you complain too much. I'm going to show you what I would do. Pretend like I stood up. So I'm not going to stand up. Hey, Steve. Hey, do you mind if we have a conversation? Listen, I love you. I care about you. But I'm starting to feel this, and let me finish, but this mounting resentment towards you. I feel like you complain about a lot of things, and it gets to a point where it gets on my nerves, and I want to support you and I want to be sympathetic towards you. But it seems like you are gunning for sympathy in that regard, and I was wondering your thoughts on that and how we can move forward. Maybe that's not the best way to do it, but guess what? You've already taken a step forward, and depending on the way that you word it, he's not going to immediately become defensive. Don't be like, hey, I have a problem with you being a raging dumbass. Let's talk about it. Update 2 months later. I'll save you some scrolling. We broke up. This is pretty long and rambling and probably not even relevant, but typing it out helps me sort it out in my head. So you might as well come along for the ride. Some more background. My ex graduated with a degree in biomedicine last year, but never actually looked for work in his field, as far as I know. This didn't strike me as a problem at first, since he's always taken care of himself just fine, and he never seemed that enthusiastic about his degree anyway. I spent several years after high school working odd jobs while I figured out what to do with my life, most of the way through nursing school now. So who am I to judge, right? But gradually, I just got more and more of a sinking feeling about things, mostly because he kept talking about how he wanted to get a PhD and become a professor, and I felt professorship was a pretty optimistic goal for even the most brilliant of students. But how do you tell your boyfriend you think their dreams are wildly unrealistic? So he decided he was going back for his master's. Cool. After I posted the original thread, I realized I'd never really spoken to him about his negativity while we were both calm, so I sat him down one day and told him that while I was always going to be there for him in times of real distress, I couldn't take all his complaining anymore about his coworkers, my housemates, his housemates, about losing at games, about the train system, about math, about arts. Apparently, they all work at Starbucks. The one time I pointed out the irony of this, he went real quiet and later told me I really hurt his feelings and to not strike such low blows in the future. Yes, I missed a hell of a red flag. So I'm not going to say I told you so because we're in the middle of a paragraph, but I told you so in multiple accounts. Also, who complains about the train system? I'm sorry. Who complains about the train system? It's like traffic. I guess you can complain about it, but like everyone's gonna. What is your goal? There was this mime on the train today. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. The train system is such a weird thing to complain about for me because it's like, and also the art majors, but it's like his coworkers, fine. We all do that from time to time. Housemates, fine. We all do that from time to time. Train system. I'm genuinely curious what he was upset about in the train system. I told him it was exhausting to constantly have to attend to one crisis or the other, and that perhaps he could benefit from seeing a therapist. In addition to everything else, he's also had depression on and off, and I figured it was a good chance to learn a better coping skills. Well, that didn't go over well at all. He immediately accused me of not caring about his feelings and that he should be able to say whatever he wanted to me And psychologists just want to give you happy pills to make you think like everyone else. When I told him psychologists aren't licensed to prescribe medication, he went silent for a while and said it doesn't matter. They still just want to convince you it's fine to be a loser and everything's okay with you. Mamma mia. Okay. I asked him if he thought he was a loser, and he said he doesn't think he's a loser. He just thinks it's important to stay aware of your flaws and punish yourself when you mess up, which is why he runs so much. At this point, I end the conversation because I don't know what to say. Take a swig, take a swig. Look, I'm not, if you're not going to say it, I'm going to say it. If anybody needs therapy, it's him. Look, you can get in my comment section and talk about therapy all you want. I'm going to be an advocate for therapy 100%. You go to the gym to work out your physical muscles, you go to the therapist's office to work out your mind muscles. The amount of red flags in this paragraph alone, 100%. It's like Dragon Ball Z, over 9,000. Therapists prescribe you happy pills. They want you to stay a loser, or they convince you it's fine to be a loser and everything's okay. And then it's like the punishing yourself with running. It's like, my brother in Christ. Now, at some point, he talks about like I should be able to talk to you about anything. I kind of agree. I think it's socially it, it's a very fine line. It's very socially unaware to sit there and be like, "Well, me and you are close, so I can complain about everything to you." It's like, well, that person's also another person. So, I don't know if you thought about that on your run, but try it sometime. Let's continue. The other thing that had been bothering me progressively more is that he's currently taking units so he can start his master's next semester. But it struck me as kind of weird that he had to take math and science prereqs considering he already has a degree in biomedicine. I'm pretty sure he graduated. He has a photo of himself in his gown on Facebook. But every time I tried to ask, he'd hand wave it away like he was hiding something. Of all the problems in our relationship, this was the only one that made me feel like I might be nuts because, for all I know, there was a perfectly simple explanation, but why the evasiveness? Anyway, reading back everything I wrote feels super weird because there's a lot of crazy shit, and it feels like, well, sure, that happened, but it wasn't like that. But maybe it was? After my failed attempt at talking, I felt like a giant dumbass for not really realizing the relationship was doomed from the start, but I was dreading actually breaking up with him until the boat ride. What? Boat? Boat ride? Oh, they're about to explain it. So in my town, there's a few places you can hire a little sailboat for an hour and sail around on the water in the summer. Fun couples activity. Before the horrible talk, we'd made plans to do this, and he didn't know I was going to break up with him. And I was still clinging to the hope of fixing our relationship, so we went sailing. If you don't see how ironic this is, was the sailboat's flag red? Was there an iceberg in the ocean? I tried to think of a third one, but I couldn't. All went well for about 10 minutes until we had to turn the boat, and of course, turning a sailboat can be tricky if you've never done it before. As we're trying and failing to turn the boat, I can see him getting more and more agitated, and I try to lighten the mood by joking about our struggles, and he replies with something like, "Oh, sure, it's fine to be shitty at things. Who needs standards?" Ooh, wait, he clocked you. And I should have known not to expect to be good at sailing. I'm sorry. He kind of clocked you. 100%. He got you with that one. I tell him there's no reason he needs to be good at something we're just doing for fun, and to just try to enjoy the activity, something that I'm sick of saying and he's evidently sick of hearing because it sets him off on one of his rants about how he can't do anything right. And people who don't care how well they do are dumbasses. Everyone is a dumbass. I just want him to be happy with being a dumbass. What the hell? The boat is stupid. Sailboats are stupid. Our town is unreasonably windy, etc. After that, he's too upset to talk and snaps at me every time I ask him to hold a rope or whatever. All because he jumped into the water. Wait, what? Oh, I jumped forward. All because he had trouble turning a higher boat. So I turned to him, yelling, "You're dumped," jumped into the water, and swam back to shore. Oh, just kidding. I only did that in my imagination. I broke up with him a couple days later. TLDR, there's something wrong with me, and I need to seriously analyze my partner choices. Look, say what you want about the boyfriend. He clocked you at the end. He got you with that. Now, you're right. You don't have to be good at something you're doing for fun, but he clocked you. You got to let that sit. And it looks like you clocked him too. You clocked him, he clocked you clocked him back. I'm not going to read comments because that took me 25 minutes to get through, and we have 2 more stories. All of the posts that I grabbed are very long. So I picked one. We're only doing 2 today because this video cannot be super long. And out of the 2 that were left, this was the craziest one. And I picked 2. That was supposed to be the easy one. I picked 2 crazy ones to end the video off. So I'm choosing the one that I chose last because we're ending this video with a fucking bang. Same guy posted this one, but the original OP was Throwboy34. I'm also going to assume that's a throwaway. I, 22, signed a GF contract for my GF 25, thinking it was a joke. It was not. This was originally posted to Relationship Advice. I'm going to say these trigger warnings because this comes with trigger warnings. So if any of these trigger you, now's a good time to click off. I do not blame you. But controlling behavior, stalking, and harassment. I told you. I'm coming in with the right clock. Okay. So the first thing is this is a throwaway because my friends use Reddit and I don't know if they know my real Reddit account, so I don't want them to find the post. The context for you guys, my GF has a few trust issues as she was in a terrible childhood of abuse and she had 2 previous relationships where the guys were mentally abusing her, so it's hard for her to trust sometimes. Appreciate the context. So this all started back in January. This was posted May of 2020. I apologize. This all started back in January. I was using Tinder and I matched with my then now GF. We have been together since the end of January and see each other often. She's the most funniest, sweetest girl I've probably ever had for a while. I really thought this might be a long relationship until now. So fast forward to now. For context, my JF and I love jokes. It's never been a one-sided thing. We both love making dumbass jokes just for laughs and giggles. Coronavirus is in effect still, so I've been collecting unemployment and spending time with my GF. Last week, we were just sitting on the couch when she got up and went to the back for something. When she returned, she had a red folder, and inside the red folder was the GF contract. Let that sit, let that sit. Basically, a GF contract is a contract that crazy GFs use to put boundaries on their then BF. I wish I would have known this sooner. She sat down and started going over everything that was on the list. I kid you not, throughout the whole reading of the contract, me and her were just cracking jokes about the contract. The jokes would go something like this. Example post because I have the memory of a snail and can't remember that actual convo. You cannot see Travis, my longtime friend, without me being with you. Geez, I'm gonna need a small ass cutout of you in my pocket then, lol. Lol. Continues on reading. She sprinkled in some sexy rules too, like nobody is to touch your pee-pee but me. Weird flex, but okay. So when she said she wanted me to sign the paper, I grabbed the pen and just put my 2 initials along with a penis drawing right beside it, clearly not taking the contract seriously. Then we just went back to doing what we were doing until the next week happened. Next week, Travis hits me up to come chill at his house for a bit and a smoke. I agree and I come to his house. Everything is all good until I get a text from my GF on Snapchat. Here's how the following messages went. Hey, what you doing? Just chilling over Travis' house, babe. What about you? Travis' house? Yeah, what's up? ... I'm going to say this right now. If you send ... IRL to somebody, I don't like you. Now, I say that probably having sent a ... in my life. So call me Hypocrite Atlas, if you will. What's up? You want me to come over? No. You told me you weren't going to talk to Travis without me being there, remember? Uh-huh. At this point, I have no idea what she's talking about because I don't remember saying anything about not hanging with my buddy without her until she reminds me of the contract. I'm genuinely taken back by this and ask her if she was serious about that contract. She insisted she was dead serious. I flat out told her I wasn't going to do these things as some of them were completely outrageous, like, I need $20 from you every 3 days, or you can't get a job less than 15 miles away from our county. This is literally the definition of the Apple terms and conditions. You just scroll through, click accept. God forbid you just sold your soul to some outer eldritch being. After I told her no, she literally started screaming at me that she thought I could be trusted and that I broke her contract. At this point, she's yelling so loud that my friend can hear, and I don't even have my phone on speaker mode. I excuse myself from Travis's place and head over to my GF house. Soon as she sees me, she starts going off about how I could just lie like that and how I'm being a selfish asshole by not wanting to follow her rules when she was the damaged one in the relationship. I know you guys would think I would be yelling and calling her a crazy lady, but I was just so genuinely in shock at the sudden change in her behavior that I barely even said a word. Pause. If you go into a relationship going, I'm the damaged one, I need to be accommodated, don't be in a relationship in the first place. I feel like this should be common knowledge. It should be common knowledge. Why are you getting into a relationship with someone? Why are you on Tinder if you consider yourself to be damaged? Look, we're all damaged in one way, shape, or form. And to a certain degree, I think people's insecurities should be accommodated for in relationships. GF contract is not the way to do it. Calling yourself the damaged one is not the way to do it. Learn to be a good human being. I promise you, it's a good life. It's a good life. To give you guys a picture of how she was before the contract came up, she was quiet, sweet, and funny. She would text me frequently and ask where I was because, like I stated at the beginning, she had trust issues and didn't fully trust me yet. Compared to her now, she was throwing insults at me left and right. Ooh. One about my performance in bed. Ooh. Another about how I'm getting unemployment. Ooh. I'm out. I'd still be at Travis's house. After a while, I snapped out of my complete shock and started arguing with her, trying to make her see that the contract was completely absurd and that I need my boundaries and that I couldn't be with her 24/7. She's crying now, telling me that she just started trusting me again and that I was just like all the others, which aren't remotely true, as my GF has told me super personal shit that I won't share here. Good on you. I tried to make a compromise. I can dedicate Sunday and Monday to her only where we can do dedicate Sunday and Monday to her where we can do whatever she wanted within the realm of reality, not being too crazy like renting a wait, what? Not being too crazy like renting a movie and me cooking dinner or us going out to some now open restaurants to eat, but she wouldn't have it. Why is that crazy? Oh, not being too crazy like. It ended with me going home and her crying in her house that I was a liar. Guys, what should I do? I'm thinking she should definitely go to some kind of therapist for this, but apparently she told me that she has been doing online therapy for the last 3 years and that it's really helped her. But I don't know if I can really believe that, not that all of this has transpired. I'm going to sound like a basic bitch redditor for a second. Dip. Dip. Get out. Not dip in the sense that she's crazy, but she most definitely is. Dip in the sense that she should not be in a relationship. In no sense of the word should she be in a relationship. If she thinks that a GF contract and saying that kind of stuff to you is okay, leave. Obviously, she needs to go see a therapist and not an online therapy one that, like, to a certain extent, I can't really say it's not working, but it's like, level it up. A GF contract is diabolical, to say the least. There's some relevant comments here. Someone said she's the most funny, quoting him, she's the most funniest, sweetest girl I've probably ever had. They said, you're 22. How big is the pool of past girlfriends you are comparing her with? She's crazy, toxic, abusive. What the hell is happening to me? She's crazy, toxic, abusive, and controlling, but you do you. He responded, I've had 4, most ended on good terms, 1 didn't. And also, I'd like to add, this all came so suddenly, like a switch got turned on or something. And then someone said, looks like that's about to be 2. I'm not going to read the rest of these. There's already a lot more story left. But my thoughts, please leave. She should not be in a relationship, and she is toxic, abusive, or maybe not abusive. It sounds like this just came out of nowhere. Wait, stalking was one of the triggers. Um, this update was posted 3 weeks later. So I came back to see an overwhelming amount of support and advice, and I tried my best to read all of them. My OG post got deleted, so I'm going to give a TLDR of what it was about. I don't know if it will let me link it since it got taken down, yada, yada, yada. I'm not reading that because we just read the story. So getting this out of the way, we're not together anymore. After the post and me getting messages from people, I decided before I called it off to try and reason with her one more time. I called her up, and when every time I tried to reason with her or explain that I can't do everything on that list, she just called me names and says things like, I guess you're not the one for me then. Or, this other guy I was talking to said he would do it no problem. Well, guess what? Go to, I can't even think of a name that's so stupid. Go to David. David can have you then. I'm good. Know your worth, king and queens, and everything in between. After not being able to come to an agreement on the phone, I told her that we should see other people, and this is where it went crazy. Here's how it went. Him. We should see other people since I can't make this work with that list of demands you want from me. Wait, what? Ooh, she said, okay. Me, I'm breaking up with you, Sarah. Fake name. In all caps, how could you do this? You were supposed to give in to me? What? You're making crazy ass requests and it's not possible for me to do all the things on your list. You're going to leave me? I'm the best thing that's ever happened to your pathetic life. How will you replace me? Oh, this hurts my stomach. I think I'll manage if my next partner doesn't flip shit on me for not following a list of demands. How about you go over that to that other guy since he would be happy to become a slave for you? Hang up on her. Oh my goodness. After I hung up the phone, she tried calling me 20 different times on other people's phones until I finally blocked her successfully. And she went to my Twitter and blew it up with texts about how I'm scum and that she was going to self-harm herself. Usually I would have jumped back into texting or something, but I had gotten a few messages from other people on here saying that she might try and use that to keep me trapped. So I just let her keep on going. She ended up grabbing a picture of a person cutting her wrist and sending it to me saying that this is what I made her do. I right-clicked the image and found the exact same picture on Google. I screenshotted it, then sent her the Google search. She goes ballistic, and I just end up blocking her. Over the last few weeks, she's been constantly making new accounts on Twitter and my IG, harassing me saying crazy shit and lies under my Twitter and IG posts to make me seem like I was stalking her and that I was a creep among other things. I would just block these immediately, and if my friends or people I knew hit me up about the comments, I would just tell them about what happened and show them her messages. It got to a point that when I would post something, she would immediately post afterward with false accusations, then my friends and others would just destroy her in the comments. It stopped for a while until last week I got a random text from an unknown number, and it was a video of my ex-GF blowing some guy with the caption, "Found someone who will follow my list." So yeah, that hurt a lot, but I'm doing relatively good. Got a new job, and I haven't heard anything from my ex-GF since that video. Thanks for all the help with this. It was a video? I'm sorry, I'm slow. Thanks for all the help with this. I think I got grazed by a massive bullet right there. Edit, sorry I forgot to post that I got in contact with one of her ex-boyfriends. They never even dated. He had sex with her a few times, fully knowing they both didn't want a relationship. Then after one night, she tried to make him sign a contract. And when he said they weren't together, she flipped shit and kicked him out. I completely believe that she was lying about her abusive boyfriends, but I oddly still do believe that she had some kind of abuse as a kid to turn out this way. Edit 2. See a lot of people in the comments asking for what was in the contract. It's been a while, but I still remember a few, and I'll list as much as I can remember. 1, you have to give me $20 every 30 days, or every 3 days. You are not allowed to see your friends unless I'm present. You can't have a job 15 miles away. If you go out to eat, you must share half with me always. No talking to people in public while I'm with you. I will do the talking. And it says there were at least 50 rules just like that. That is fucking wild. I try not to swear in these videos unless I'm reading something, but that is fucking wild. That is disgusting. This person should not be in a relationship. This is like mental. This is the realm of mental illness. The fact that how she was acting before and then it was a switch once you didn't give in. That's what's wild to me. I've never dealt with somebody like this. So it's hard for me to be like, "Oh, you should," because there are a lot of people who would deal with the first part and they'd stay because they don't know how to stand up for themselves or confront. A lot of people just aren't confrontational people. This is my kind of story because that's what I would do. What would have done. Except earlier, and I'm not saying this as in like I'm a better person because I would have left earlier. I'm just saying from my previous experiences, I would have been gone the moment uh maybe not even the contract. Like let's say I signed the contract because he even says himself he thought it was a joke. The moment she goes, "You're at Travis's house," and then she shows like she's genuinely upset, I would have been like, "Oh, I thought that was a joke." And she goes, "No, it wasn't a joke." I'd be like, "There wasn't a lawyer present." Oh god. Dude, this story's making my toes curl. That's nuts. Also, why $20 every 3 days? Go for the kill. Make it a weekly basis. $40 a week? What do you need $40 a week for? Explain that to me. What do you need $40 a week for? The friends thing is extremely abusive. The job thing is redundant. Number 4, if you go out to eat, you must share half with me always, is just the kind of greed they talk about in the Bible. But $20 every 3 days, just save $50 a week. What is this technical jargon lawyer speak? What do you need $20 every 3 days for? I'm genuinely curious. Is that like your subscriptions? What is that for? Also, he's on unemployment. I don't know how much you get from unemployment. He's already probably not doing well financially, but now you're trying to siphon him for what? For what? You suck. Please find help. I will read this comment. Legs Johnson says, "Sexy rules. Your pee-pee, winky heart." I regret even trying to read that. I don't know the context. Get the fuck out of here. That story pissed me off. But that's where we're going to end today. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I'm going to save this story for sure for the next video. But if you like this content and you find yourself coming back for more, whether that's my videos yapping about things that I don't have the qualifications for, or these Reddit videos, please drop a like, drop a comment. Most importantly, subscribe. I love each and every one of you. I respond to every comment. Speaking of, if you commented on my last video and you're watching this all the way up to this point, at this point, your comment should be responded to. I slacked a little bit last week, but I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you guys next week. Bye.